Darklings! So today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite weird directors who is known for his outlandish reputation, which is David Lynch. So he's born in Missoula, Minnesota, and that accent is very prominent in all of his interviews and is something a little bit comical. I've only watched a couple of interviews, but it's very funny to me. But anyway, he's known as being an artist, as being really weird, as not explaining himself very well. And he's also done a ton of short films, which I'm not going to talk about today because that'll take forever. Anyway, his first full-length film, which took 5 years to make, is Eraserhead from 1977, and it was one of those movies. I saw it as a teenager, and the whole time I was like, what am I watching? I was not prepared. And the baby freaked me out a lot, and I still don't know how he did that. But I keep wondering if I want to rewatch it, but I don't think I have it in me. But so that's definitely his first film, and it's very much a trip. Apparently in an interview, someone said, you've said that Eraserhead is your most spiritual film. Explain that. No. Which is very much his type of an answer. His next film from 1980 is The Elephant Man with John Hurt as the title character. And this was kind of an interesting, depressing one that is based off of the real-life Elephant Man, although they did change quite a few details to make it more fictitious. It was a very strange, kind of dreamlike and depressing film, but was still a little more mainstream than his previous feature-length effort. His next film from 1984 is Dune. I'm sure I'm going to have someone asking why I have a copy of this, and the answer is it was $2 and I hadn't seen it. This is Kyle MacLachlan's feature debut. This is not a very good movie, but this is also coming from someone who has never read Dune, does not know very much about Dune, and so I don't harshly grade it the way everyone else does because I just don't know enough about the source material, so I thought it was okay, but it wasn't really all that great either. There's some cool effects in here that are very ambitious and ahead of its time and its budget, but overall it is not so great, and I'm kind of in the I really wish Jodorowsky had been able to succeed in doing Dune group. The next one from 1986, which is very much Lynch's style and is the height of it at that time, is Blue Velvet with his girlfriend Isabella Rossellini and Kyle MacLachlan, who is a reoccurring favorite, as well as Laura Dern and Dennis Hopper, who also feature in several other projects of his. This is definitely kind of a strange one. It has a lot of this perversion of the American dream feel to it, with the title song Blue Velvet being a reoccurring theme. There's a lot of very dramatic overacting that helps sell the point. It's kind of a neo-noir film. It's a little trippy. The next one is Wild at Heart from 1990 with Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, and that one, on the one hand, it was very much Lynch's type of film. On the other hand, it really wasn't my thing, mostly because I don't like Nicolas Cage over much, and it's kind of a weird road trip movie because Nicolas Cage's character gets out of prison and they go on a run from the parole officer and from her parents and everything. And it's a lot. It's pretty good, but it's a lot, and I don't think I need to see it again. Next one is the show that he did with Mark Frost, Twin Peaks, which everybody knows. It's highly talked about. It had a big resurgence in popularity in the last few years, especially with the news of the revival. It took me several months to watch the 2 seasons because I'm terrible at TV shows and I just don't watch TV shows like I watch movies. And I thought it was very good and very strange, and the mythology is very interesting if you can sort of kind of puzzle it out, although a lot of it leads to dead ends. Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me I did see in the theater, and the whole thing is like an experience. It's a trip. Sheryl Lee's acting is definitely her most intense performance, and it answered a few questions that the show didn't, but also raised a bunch of new ones and had a lot of cameos from a wide variety of actors, even though they were given top billing and they were in it for less than a few minutes. Notably, because it's me, David Bowie with a bad Texas accent was very confusing. Next one after that, from 1997, is Lost Highway with Patricia Arquette and Bill Pullman, and this one was really, really cool. But if you're trying to find sense in it, the actors don't know what's going on. No one knows what's going on but David Lynch, and he won't explain what actually happened because it's very confusing. But it also has one of the best soundtracks of a film from the 90s I've ever seen. It was one of the reasons that I found the film was because of a lot of people talking about who was going to be in the soundtrack. It's very strange, but also very interesting and kind of messed up. The next film, which is completely out of character for his usual oeuvre, is The Straight Story from 1999. It's G-rated, and the only one of his films to be G-rated, and is distributed through Disney. The lead actor, he ended up getting an Academy Award nomination for his portrayal as Alvin Straight, which is based off of a true story of a man that wanted to make amends with his brother as he's starting to gain on in years, and drove a John Deere tractor from Iowa to Wisconsin, which does not sound riveting, but ended up being a sweet story anyway. The next one is the Mulholland Drive TV movie, which I didn't see, and the 2001 feature-length film with Naomi Watts. And that was really interesting, and I was really glad that I watched that after I'd seen Twin Peaks, because even though they are not directly correlated, they do share some similar mythology and some of the trippiness. And it was one of those that when I was still living at my mom's house, I had it recorded on the receiver, and she said, "What's this?" I said, "You're not going to like it." And I left it alone, and she ended up watching it, and she hated it like I told her she would. And it was a very strange one that went a lot of strange places that I wasn't anticipating when I initially started watching it, because it seems pretty straightforward until it's not. The next film on here, which I haven't seen, it's over 3 hours long. I will see it at some point, despite mixed reviews, which is Inland Empire, which again features Laura Dern, another one of his acting favorites. And I don't know enough to tell you about it. It's from 2007. And then last but not least is the Twin Peaks revival series, which I haven't watched. I've had a lot of people ask me if I will watch it, which the answer is yes, but I have not watched it as of yet. I'll get around to it at some point. It's just kind of hard to do when I can't get Showtime. And I'll have to hunt it down some other way at some other point. But anyway, David Lynch is a trippy weirdo. I'm not convinced that he's a real person. All of his films seem like esoteric nightmares, but who really knows, because the only person that actually knows what's going on is him. And he likes to do things that are meaningless with this, and saying that they have meaning just to fuck with people. So anyway, till next time, Darklings.